Shiba Inu holders, we did not forget about you. We still talk about Shib. We still look at Shib every single day. It's something where it's a crypto that I think has taken a back seat to some of the moves in the market that I don't think represent the whole story. And I did have the privilege of talking Shib with a lot of people that are, very prominent Shib holders. I'll leave it at that. At the Ethereum conferences there in Toronto this year in 2025. It's something that I do look forward to each and every year. I think that when it comes down to Shiba Inu, their big story that really has to be talked about is kind of why Ethereum is up at 2,700, and Shib's not pumping. We're going to talk about that. But I want to get into the direction that does move the market, because the big story and headline that I want to break down for you guys in this video is the Shiba Inu whales. Okay. And that's always been the storyline, right? If you guys were Shib holders back in 2021, you know what I'm talking about. That's when you would wake up and, you were looking at an escalator, not a candle. Okay. And those green candles don't seem to exist outside of maybe just some new up and coming meme coin that, reaches $1 billion. But as it relates to Shib, one of the more prominent players within ERC20 tokens, I want to talk about that little discussion. Okay, so let's get into it. For those of you that are new here, I do welcome some new faces. Appreciate you guys and all you returning subscribers. Be sure to leave me a comment down below in the description or in the comments box, because, admittedly so, I have not been talking about Shib as much as I used to. And that's not anything to do with you guys. And I think that we all can be on the same page in the fact that you guys have not been watching a lot of Shib videos as well, because, it is what it is. Okay. But I want to talk about Shiba Inu on the day. I want to get into the chart discussion, and the big headline that we are going to break down is, where are the whales going right now? All right, because it does immediately impact the Shib price. I think that that's the big question, is if they are still even around. All right, so I want to give you guys my thoughts. If you are new to the channel, like I said, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you are not following me on X, make sure you do so as well. You can find my handle on the bottom of the description. There will be a link to my X page. Make sure you give me a follow on that platform as well. And let's get down into it. Okay, as we look at Shib though on the day, you can see right here trading outside of the top 10, still 16th in market cap at that 401452 level. And the thing that I want to talk about though is, over the last month, right, Shib is up 19.2%. It goes down currently to that valuation where, if we pull up the trading view, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, and I'm gonna get off of that trading indicator so you guys have a better look. But this is kind of echoing some of the same sentiment that we have seen with other altcoins, meme coins in the market. And please, guys, do not confuse this with financial advice. Always be sure to do your own research and due diligence. But if you want to talk about the legs that we need to put in question, this is across the board. April 8th was really the turning point in all of crypto. Okay, and that was the kind of market bottom, in my personal opinion. And since then, there was one here, there was one here, and then now we are kind of at that question mark zone, if you will. And that's kind of how I view it. Okay, it's just kind of, what is Shib going to do from here? And this is the way that a lot of charts, I think there's a couple that don't act in this manner, but there's a lot of charts that really you could almost take off of the screen and stack them on top of each other. And it's just kind of telling the whole story. All right. Now, Ethereum did reach 2,700, and that put Shib almost back into the 402 conversation. And why that's relative is, if we zoom out of the chart and we look back into kind of where we were trading at back in the later part of 2024, that's when Shib was at that 4033, 4034. Shib was pumping, okay? And you can see kind of where we were at. You can draw a blue line, whatever you want to do, and then boom, all of a sudden, another descending triangle that we did form coming off of that. And we have been in that kind of dark, doomy direction dating back to pretty much as soon as we got up there, right? We kicked off the new year. 2025 was starting in the red direction. And that's where, if you really want to count off and see where we're at, we got as low as pretty much 70% down in the value of Shiba Inu in that short period of time. And then since then, if we want to count it going up, since where we were at right here, right now, okay, that's roughly representing another 45% increase into the green from present day. So it's been very volatile. It's been rocky. I think that the macro needs to be talked about more. When we talk about Donald Trump, we talk about the Trump administration into pro-regulating crypto. We talk about the global move into crypto. I think across the board, it's almost an arms race. Where will Shib be in a couple years? Okay. directly, if you want to tie this down into the conversation to be had, I think personally it goes and it's attributed to mostly kind of their failure to take advantage of kind of what they're built for. Okay. They were a meme coin community first. I think they got a little bit too headstrong into Shibarium. And I'm not discrediting Shibarium, but a lot of good projects that, I've talked about some of them. I believed in a lot of them. And a lot of those good projects built on Shibarium just never had a chance because of the state of Shib and just kind of, unfortunately, having to be faced with the decision, should I buy Shib? Should I buy Pepe? Should I buy all of these new meme coins on different blockchains that are originating out of thin air and reaching a $1 billion market cap very, very quickly? Even the Trump token, for discussion purposes, really did take some of the steam out of the sales of Shib. But it doesn't mean that the community is bad. It doesn't mean that Shib is dead. It doesn't mean that Shib is forgotten about. It just means that it's not like, the sexy toy that it was back in 2021. Okay. But kind of tying this all together and putting a bow on it, we need to look into what the whales are doing within Shib, because that is the big storyline, okay? And before we get further into this conversation, if you guys are new traders out there, if you trade spot and leverage trading, I have an exciting promotion for you. BTCC, my trusted exchange, 14 plus years in the industry, spot and leverage trading available, and also a 10% bonus for first-time deposits. Use my link, and that promo code will be added to that box so that you will receive a 10% deposit bonus on all deposits above 500 USDT, extra bonuses upwards of $10,000 plus per user, as well as kind of the big kind of conversation here is the 40% lower trading fees, where you could trade spot and leverage in most locations, okay? And that's something that a lot of exchanges don't offer. There's no VPN or KYC necessary. Be sure to check out your terms and conditions, where you're located, make sure it's right for you. But if you want to start trading today, BTCC, link down below. Come trade with me and enjoy those promos, okay? But let's get back into this article, and this is kind of the conversation piece that we came here to talk about. As we look at a lot of mixed performance for Shib, we go up, we go down. Nobody really can put a finger on which way the market wants to head. And unfortunately, Shib's kind of piggybacking off of what ETH is doing. And we've always talked about that, not just with Shib, also with Pepe. You look at kind of what Shib wants to do. We know that, but it's the same old song and dance. If ETH is pumping, Shib's pumping. And it goes back to where Ethereum was, at one point, $4,000. Well, where do you think Shiba Inu was? Unfortunately, that was kind of the top of it all, okay? But Ethereum's not going to perform a crash from $4,000 down to sub $1,000 levels. And don't think for a second that Shiba Inu will not be impacted, okay? But we've seen recently in the last 24 hours, recent price action suggesting that a positive momentum is happening, and Shib's trading within a tight range and also facing a lot of resistance despite the RSI numbers stabilizing. Now, the one thing about the RSI is when things are looking kind of gloomy, they're looking like there's blood in the water, that's usually when the whales are buying. But as of recent, we have seen a large decline in the numbers of whale participants, and that's something where you look into kind of where we're not only neutral, but it's just kind of hanging out, okay? So it's waiting for that push from behind, that tailwind, if you will, to push Shiba Inu over the edge. And as that whale count declines, it's been gradual, but these are holders of at least 1 billion Shiba Inu. And if you are a whale, Shib whale, leave a comment down below. Let me know that you guys are alive. But that's something where we look into a 10,205 number. That's a decline where roughly 27 whales have been lost in a period of 9 days ago. So whether or not that contributes to the longer term effect, or if it's just basically whales taking that profit that I share with you guys dating back to May 8th, where just in less than 2 weeks' time, they just wanted to suck up some gains and kind of get out for the time being. Doesn't mean they're out forever, but for the time being, that number has dropped by 27 Shiba Inu whales, okay? So it does suggest profit taking. That's kind of where we're looking at these numbers, and that's kind of why I wanted to make this video for you guys, because a lot of people just look at the charts and you're just praying it goes up, but you're not reading between the lines, not looking at the RSI, not looking at some of the metrics, some of the indicators, and also if we do see that exhaustion of whale wallets and those numbers of addresses, that does kind of lead to the storyline that the that the price action for Shib is losing momentum. And when you lose momentum, you usually do follow that up with a price decrease, and that allows you to get in front of the 8-ball in most cases and kind of avoid some of that drop off that we did just see recently. Okay, and that's something where as long as Bitcoin's trading high, Ethereum's trading high, I think that SHIB's going to be okay. It's not going to be back at all-time highs anytime soon. But if you do believe in Shiba Inu, please keep in mind, look at Pepe. Pepe exploded on the charts. Okay, you got to wake the whale wallets, and then if we do get FOMO from the retail side of the game that we saw back in 2021, 2020, then all things can change very, very quickly. But as far as SHIB goes, you know, the leadership kind of is a crux, if you will. It's kind of unfortunate and disheartening, because if you did believe in kind of what the SHIB community was about, you know, it's hard to maintain that level of confidence. And I think that they've made some moves that personally I don't agree with, but that doesn't tell the whole story. If the community held strong, it's kind of mutual. It really didn't, quite frankly, matter what the folks there at SHIB were actually doing intrinsically, and that's kind of the bigger storyline. Okay, so it does work both ways, but for my money, I think that there were some mistakes made with Shibarium, kind of exhausted itself, and unfortunately, a lot of good projects kind of got left by the wayside. Okay, but it's not over with, right? It's not over with. Ethereum just hit 2,700. There's a lot of traders out there that were dogging on ETH, didn't think that they had a shot in hell ever getting back above 2,000, and then here we were pressing 3,000 and even beyond before getting that market exhaustion that we were just faced with. Okay, that's kind of where you have to find yourself in between these levels here and ask yourself, what do you align with? Okay, where do you find yourself as a SHIB holder? Are you in it for the long haul regardless? Are you holding and just waiting? Or are you just kind of, you know, playing the ups and downs and looking to make some quick swing trades? And then hopefully one day, you know, the markets shift and SHIB can reclaim the territory that was once lost, you know, getting out of the top 10 and just kind of, you know, falling by the wayside. But it's not off the board, right? It's still a top 25 crypto. It still has a very strong community. And quite frankly, you guys wouldn't be watching this video if it was anything but that. So that's kind of where I'm at. In looking to see what I'm doing with SHIB, it falls into one of my categories within my own personal cryptos where I'm kind of just waiting, right? I'm not looking to scalp a move on SHIB when there's better plays, quite frankly, in the cryptocurrency world. It's not FUD, it's just the reality, okay? So I want you guys to leave a comment down below what you're doing with SHIB. Are you holding regardless? Do you find yourself trading between these support and resistance zones? I know it's frustrating, but do you find yourself looking for a way out, a break-even point, or are you just kind of, you know, looking at better options, kind of like the rest of the market is, and potentially some of these big whales within SHIB are doing? Okay, leave a comment down below. It was nice talking SHIB with you guys. We're going to continue to monitor it, and when we do get noteworthy information, we will share that with you guys. And that's why it's important to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us here on the channel. Don't miss a beat. Have that notification bell turned on. We do talk it on X as well, so make sure you follow me on there. And also, before you get out of here, if you do want to start trading on BTCC, that link is down below. Start trading today. All right, so I'll leave guys with that. Appreciate the few minutes that you did let me talk for, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Cheers.